I'm finally back and I'm kind of ready for the first page. I've got everything prepped, I think. Thought I'd show you a couple of things that I've used. My only concession to Christmas on this album is this holly punch, which I've used as a corner punch. It's by Tonic. One of those punches that you think is going to be really difficult to use, but it's really good. Even with, as you can see, my hands are very swollen today. Because I do suffer from rheumatoid arthritis, among other things. So this has actually been a really good punch. Anyway, this is a Martha Stewart punch. It's not a punch around the page, it's just a flat punch. And I've used this quite a lot so far, and I've only done one page. This, I had my whole album planned out. And then I changed my mind because I saw this, and I bought it from eBay. And when I got it and I used it, I saw this, and basically I replanned the whole album around using this because I thought it was going to be absolutely amazing. And I've used it and I'm not that keen anymore, so I don't know. I may go back to my original ideas, which is going to be difficult because I've thrown away the notepad that I planned it all out on. Anyway, I will be using these little die cuts that I've used before, especially on the Raven album. I love these. That's from a very inexpensive die from China, part of a set, and a few little bits and pieces from I think it's a Studio G collection that I had, and it is years and years old. I don't think you can get it anymore. But right, let us begin. So I was going to start with the base page separate and then add it into the book later, but I decided against that because it's just going to add more bulk. I've got my book charms all done on here, and I have my charms, most of them, on here. Even this little book that actually opens. Look, it's a little book, and it actually opens up. You can actually see it opens up. Isn't that adorable? Anyway, yeah, and there's just like there's ledgers and a little ink bottle, and I've sprayed them all in lots of little bells. I've sprayed it all. I actually used a gold paint. I think it's 151 gold paint, which I've used before, and a Ford motor car bronze spray paint, just to give it a slightly darker sort of edge, just so it's not so stark. So, because the bronze one I got, I don't like on its own. Anyway, I have changed the first page slightly. I have changed the picture. I prefer this one, and I've just glued it on top of the other one, so it's a really nice stiff pocket here. And the other part of this picture was Bob Cratchit, and I thought, oh, I'll just add that onto the tag there and use the die on the top, which I thought went quite well. So let me move this out of the way, and hopefully I'll be able to get this done. Oh, lighting straight on to the page without too much difficulty. She says having difficulty. Right, I think what I'm going to have to do is stop recording for a moment and take my camera angle up a bit, else I'm not going to get all this in. And the pages should be flat enough to be able to work on without having to put a base page in, and they're nice and thick, so hopefully that'll be okay. So I'm going to pan the camera a bit and then I'll be back with the page. Right, I am coffee replenished. I think I have everything ready, so I shall begin. Right, the first things I am going to need are this and this. I think, yeah, this is the way I'm doing it. Okay, and I'll give you the measurements. It's 10.5. Now, the page is 10.5 by 7.25, and it's got a 3/4 inch flap here for the hinge, but including the tab at the end, it's 8 inches with 3/4 inch. Okay, and this one is 10.5 by about 4 1/8, and this was actually a piece of leftover, and we'll call it 3.5. So you get a 3.5 by 10.5 inch flap here, plus the hinge. Get my glue ready. Oh, that'll have to be changed soon. Okay. So I'm going to put these on first, and these are going either side of the page. Okay, she says, trying to line it up. Right, that's one on. This craft paper, as you can see, it is a different colour one side to the other, but I'm not too fussed on that. I think it'll be okay. I don't think it's going to look too odd. And the ink I've used to go around the edges is still black soot. I was going to use walnut stain, but I think with the black highlights everywhere, the black ink tended to look a bit better. Okay, let's get this side on. And there it is. Okay, I already have prepped on this side of the tab here. I've matted it, and there's a magnet underneath so that I can get my magnet on here, which I'm just going to do. See, I have magnet written. And then that's all done. Okay, next, on top of this page, so I've got it all closed ready, and I'm going to have these flaps. Now, I've got this idea, I was very much inspired by Jakki Douglas, one of her albums, and I'll link it below. I'll link her channel below. Absolutely amazing. I loved watching her videos. So I've just got to sort out the bits I need for this. And I do believe it's that one as well. Right. These ones you could just, Jakki just had it diagonally cut. I put a shape into mine just so that it matches this tab here. That's the only reason why I've got this shape here. Right, so these are, what did I do with my, there it is. These are 5 and, yeah, they're about 5 inches by 7 inches. And what I've done is I know that this fold here is from the what's going to be the middle edge, because obviously this is going on the side. This is 4 1/8 of an inch, because this is 8 1/4 inches across. So yeah, this is 8 1/4, so I know that this has to be 4 1/8 plus the flap at the side, because these are going here and here. But first of all, I have to make these into a pocket, so you'll need 2 of these mirror images. So it's 4.1 plus however you want the hinge, and 7, and then I've cut mine, the diagonal is roughly 5 inches up on one side, just under 5 inches up on the side, going up to the 7 inches. So these are then 7 inches by 4.1 plus a small hinge, and you'll need 2 of these as well, and you don't need to cut any diagonals into this. This is just a straight back. So, oh gosh, I do hope I'm explaining this okay. Right, so 4.1 by 7 plus the hinge on the 4 1/8 of an inch side, and then the same for this one. You don't need such a big hinge on this one. I only wanted a big hinge on here because it's having something heavy in it. This is basically a half pocket. It's an open-sided pocket. It's going like this, and it's an open-sided pocket. It will be sealed at the bottom, but it's an open-sided pocket. So I'm going to get this pocket on first. I think that'll probably be easier for me. And I'm going to remove this side bit first. Oh, there it is. And the fold, I folded it inwards, put it everywhere. Oh. And the fold is going in this way. That's not good, that's not good, that's not good, it's slightly off. This has to be quite exact because it is going to show a lot. So, I mean, I would like it to be quite perfect, but any excess at the side I can trim off, but I think that should be okay. So what you're left with is the 4.1 plus the flap, and the flap is 3, and on this side you have the square that you've done the rectangle. And I don't want any of that there. Okay, now to do this one. And once again, the flap here with the diagonal cut into it, and the flap on the rectangle is facing upwards, and it's going this way. So it's been so long since I've made a video, I am so out of practice. And of course I would suggest as well that you do, if you're having any shape cut into this, actually even if it's just the diagonal, I would definitely get your matting papers ready beforehand. Oh, that one went much nicer than this one. Oh wow, that'll be okay. Okay. Yeah, get all your decorative matting papers prepped beforehand, because it'll be just so much easier to do it whilst it's not stuck down and all glued together. Right, next I'm just going to remove this bit and stick that down to make my open-sided pockets, which are going to meet in the middle. If they will meet in the middle, like that. Get rid of all my rubbish. Need coffee. Okay. So I'm going to stick this one down first. This one just goes to the bottom left-hand corner. So, I don't know about that. Right, I'm just going to move this over this way, because I want to make sure that that's not going to be interfering too much. Right, that little tiny extra bit where it's gone over here, there, I'm going to cut that off. And I'm going to, rather bravely for me, do it with a pair of scissors. Because, like I said, my hands are swollen, they're very shaky, and I don't usually cut in a straight line anyway. It's just a tiny, tiny bit that needs to come off. There. It's a tiny, tiny bit. Hardly anything there. Okay, happy with that now, and I can put this side down as well. Right, now for in here you will need an 8 1/8 of an inch square mat, and it has to be quite a thick one. I've already got mine prepared, and I've actually decided to have mine as a booklet. And what it does, this slips in here like this, and it keeps the whole page closed. Jakki, you're amazing. I was just so impressed when I saw this, and it looks so good. Like I said, mine is slightly different to hers, but she inspired me totally. So that's what that is for. Okay, this is obviously the punch that I used on here, and inside I just matted it plain black and on the back as well. And this is one of the images. I think it's a PJ Lynch image, and so I've highlighted the candle, I've highlighted around Scrooge's face and on the faces here, and done a little bit of red colouring in. It's not that clear on camera, but trust me, it's there. And all I've got to do, this is actually, I've only stuck this down on 3 sides, and it's down to about here, so that I can have a tag in here. And this tag is 6.5 by 4.5 and when it's matted it'll go in really well, because obviously this is a bit thin at the moment. When it's matted, that'll slip in there nicely, and I'm going to have a pull tab that will just stick out slightly on the top. So that's what that's for. So yeah, 8 1/8 of an inch by 8 1/8 of an inch, and so mine's quite thick, so it slips in really nicely. Like so. Right, next, inside. Now I was going to have a flip down pocket, but I'm not now. I'm having this just a normal pocket. Oh no, first. On the back of this flap here, with the tab on it, I am having a pocket. This is completely optional, obviously. And I'm going to have a pocket here, and it is the full width of this minus 1/16 of an inch, because I don't want it to be over that crease line. So that's going on next. If I can, there it is. Oh dear, like I said, I had this prepped quite a while ago, and I have not written down, so the pages are prepped, but it's not prepped on paper, so it's a matter of trying to remember what I've done, how I'm doing it, and then, like I say, none of the other pages are even thought of yet, because I changed my mind, then changed it back. Oh, mustn't forget the one at the bottom, because we don't want anything falling out of our bottoms. And once again, I've used that Martha Stewart straight edge punch on the top here. And I will give you the measurements in a second. Obviously, it's the width of the page, and I do believe it is. It started off at 8 1/4 inches high, and then I punched the edge, which took it down slightly. Okay, so the height of it is now, it is 8 inches, but if I take off that decorative edge, it's 7 5/8 of an inch high, and obviously 6 and 1, 2, 3/8, 6 3/8 of an inch wide. Okay, now on to the centre here, and in the centre I am having a pocket here with the tab cut out. Saying that doesn't look nice now, that pocket's there. Yeah, it's okay. It'll be okay once it's decorated. And there's now the bits and pieces. So this pocket, I am going to have a 8 by 8 inch. Now this pocket is slightly smaller. It's 8 1/8 of an inch across, and it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 1/4 inches tall. But it's 8 1/8 of an inch, because it has to fit inside here comfortably. So this mat, which, like I said, just got the plain black on each side, is 8 inch square, so that it'll fit into the pocket nicely. And I've lost the other bit. There it is. This is, should be 8 1/4. No, it shouldn't. It, like this, it's 8 1/8 of an inch, and it was a full A4 size. And then what I've done is I've scored it 5 1/4 inches in, and then at 10 1/2 inches. and then whatever's left over is my flap. And then I folded it in, and because the score lines are the same, it makes both these panels 5 1/4 inches. I would suggest you give it a good burnish and rub those score lines first so that it fits in nicely, so you won't get it bowing out. Okay, so this one, so I said 5 1/4 inches, 10 1/2 inches, so you've got two 5 1/4 inch gaps plus whatever's left over from your piece from the flap, and it's 8 1/8 of an inch wide this way. I'm just going to fold it up and then fold the tab over, and that's where your tape is going to be. That's going to go up there, and this pocket's going down here, so that they meet in the middle. Now, this I made, and then I realised I was going to have this to keep the flap closed, then I changed my mind. That's why it's that height. What I've done is on the pocket here, on the matting paper, the decorative paper, I've put a couple of swing tabs, and these swing tabs will swing up and hold this page closed so that it doesn't open up. So let's get these on. I don't think I have to mat anything first. No, the only thing I had to mat first was this one, because this is a straight to pocket page. It's stuck straight on, so I matted this first. I am all over the place today. So, let's take this off first. And the numbers I've got written and arrows are only to tell me what pieces of paper that I've got already are going where and in what direction. So this one's going at the top. And then I'm going to put this straight on before I press this down too much. I don't know if I mentioned the paper, the card I'm using for the pages. Obviously the base page was 250 gram paper card. This is 160. I would have preferred 180, I'll admit, but this 160 is actually quite strong on the craft paper. That crash was not inside my house, that's the builders across the road. Right. I want that to be quite... Oh, that's worked out lovely. Okay. So that is the first page. Actually quite easy, considering how long it took me to prep this. That's oh dear. Okay, so on the first page we have the open-sided pocket meeting in the middle, pockets. They open up. You have the flap with the magnet in the tab here to open up on this side too. Pocket on the left hand side of the tab page, and then this folds up and up again, and a pocket here. Now all I have to do is decorate it, and I've got all my pages decorated ready, so I shall stop recording because you don't want to see me do all that. And I'll come back and show you the decorated page. So see you in a moment. Okay, I've finished the page. In between going shopping for craft stuff and picking up my daughter and ordering pizza. So, oh, I will try not to bang that again. Actually, let me pop this inside here. There we go. Okay, so it's all decorated now. I've got the tag in front pocket there. So this slips out, and that's obviously, it's got the tag in it, and that was already done. These are just, I don't mat the inside on this side, I only mat this side. So that's done. I've got my second illustration here, and that's done. Magnets in. I haven't put a mat here, but I might do. Swing tabs, lifts up, pocket, and then obviously this lifts down, all folds up. So that's it, all done, page 1, and now I have to start thinking about page 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10, which I may do whilst I'm eating my pizza. For someone who's lactose intolerant, I am certainly taking a risk. So, yes, that's it. Page 1, done, decorated. And thank you very much, Jackie Douglas, for the inspiration. There, all done. So page 1 done, at last. And I'll be back to finish pages 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10 when I have thought them through and got it all sorted. But for now, page 1 done. Bye bye.